Every year, French foodies celebrate La Semaine du Goût, or Tasting Week. That's on this year from October 13th to 19th. It's been a tradition in France since 1990, and we're going to talk more about that now with food journalist and author Alec Lobrano. Alec, thanks so much for joining us on the show.
My pleasure.
Alec, over your career, you have really become one of Paris's most influential food critics. Tell us a bit more about, first of all, La Semaine du Goût. What is it? What can people do during this tasting week in France?
I think one of the best things about La Semaine du Goût is that it is educational. What it's doing is it's continued to perpetuate the French tradition of gastronomy from one generation to the next, and it makes food high level. There's special menus in restaurants all over France, special low price menus, and it's a way of perpetuating the love of really good food and cooking from one generation to the next.
And we often talk about all the weird food, if you like, that French people seem to like. At least that's what people outside of France say. I mean, let's start with some of that weird food. The big one that comes to mind for many non-French people are snails or escargot. Do the French really eat a lot of snails?
I think that snails have become such a luxury product now. Unfortunately, now that most of them are not from Burgundy, they're coming from Eastern Europe or even Asia. As many people say, the snail is just a vector for the garlic butter, and who doesn't like garlic butter, actually? So I don't think that's one of the scarier things. I think that if you really want to get into the ring with some of the things that the French eat and other people find a little difficult, then we'll go toward different types of offal, including things like l'andouillette, which was one of my revenge dishes. I've worked a lot with photographers, and sometimes if a photographer came from London to work on a story with me and was impossible, when we're having lunch in a cafe, and he'd say, "What's that, Alec?" And I'd say, "Andouillette." And he said, "What is it?" And I said, "It's a sausage." And he said, "Oh, I like sausage." And I said, "Go ahead." And then it was rearing back when he pierced it, because it's a chitterling sausage made with the intestines, and it has a very fragrant, what can we say?
Smell.
Earthy smell. It's a-
Yeah, Andriette is definitely an acquired taste. I will give you that. But there's another strange meat, some would say, which is less common these days, but you still find horse meat. I mean, I know a lot of people who still say that they prefer their steak tartare made with horse meat as opposed to beef. I mean, is horse meat still a thing in France?
I think that horse meat really took a hit during the time of the mad cow disease. That was, as did offal. I mean, that's when a lot of things, many of those places shut down at that point in time. This is almost 30 years ago now, and never reopened. And I think also that the homogenizing tastes mean that younger French are more like people in, I hate to say it, but in America or England or Australia, in terms of being timid around strong flavors and tastes. Horse meat's delicious. My French mother-in-law eats it all the time. She pulled me toward it over the years, and I have finally developed a taste for it, believe it or not.
I know it's hard to generalize an entire nation, but are there certain types of foods that the French generally like or generally stay away from?
I think one of the things when I cook, I mean, if you're in a couple with if you have a French spouse, we both cook. And when I'm cooking something, the remark most often made over my shoulder is, "Ooh la 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 la, attention avec le piment." Ça pique, ça pique. It's too strong. It's too hot. The hotter end of the flavor scale. The French are not as eager for that as people come to be in the UK, America, Canada, Australia, the English-speaking world. I think that in the English-speaking world, immigration, constant nonstop immigration has completely changed our palates, and our palates are open. The fact, for example, that kimchi is now sold, kimchi, the fermented hot Korean cabbage condiment, is now sold in supermarkets all over the US, is a measure of how much the American diet changes and continues to change. I have not found any kimchi in the Carrefour near me in Uzes, and I don't think it's going to happen soon. That being said, we're living in a fascinating time because there is a process of, I think the French palate has opened up to the world and become much more adventurous than it was when I moved here from London ages ago, when the still dinosaurs in the Tuileries. And the French, are younger French, are adventurous in ways that their parents weren't. They've traveled, they've backpacked. They have friends from different countries. I mean, I think often of that in terms of Marseille. Marseille is like a big soup pot. And as a chef once said to me in Marseille, he said, Alec, we're like you, meaning Americans. We know each other's food and we like it. And I thought that was a really interesting remark. He said, in other parts of France, there's not that familiarity with other kitchens, but Marseille, having such a wonderfully diverse population, means that you eat across different boundaries all the time.
We've run out of time, but thank you for that. It's true that non-French food is definitely having a moment here as well. Alec Lobrano, thank you so much for your time for this Entre Nous. You're watching France 24. Stay with us.